go. What up, guys? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and we're doing some live trading here on, again, during market hours between 3 to like around 4-ish p.m. today, looking at some really active markets. A couple of mistakes I did today. Kind of went really too... I went too big on DraftKings, but I kind of bought in a little bit too early, and now I'm really kind of paying for it. Potentially gonna have to cut that one loose or roll my options to a later date. All right, let's go ahead and let's wait for a couple people to come in. I see Robert's here. I see GM said hello. Doesn't give me a timestamp when you guys said that. Let me go ahead and actually copy this, and I'll ping it to the Discord. Let's say live and do add everyone. Boom, there we go. Send. Bada bing, bada bing. He's got it is on. What's up, my friend? How you doing? Hopefully your trading has been pretty good today. Microsoft hit 200. Yes, I'm happy about that. BA's green. SPY is popping off fairly well. Yeah, we got a lot of good things going for sure. What up, Kelly D? Did you get into that SHLL? Like, that thing was kind of popping off today. I just actually finished up a video that should be going live around 4-ish, 4:30 I believe, about Virgin Galactic, ticker symbol SPCE. We have some long dated calls on that. That's been very great. Actually, let me get this out of the way here so you should be able to see my screen now, so forth. Chris, what do you think about Apple and the news that just came out? What come out, like they're showing off the new roadmap stuff, or the new features for the new OS X and all the different Apple iWatch development and things like that? Are you talking about that? Because I watched some of it, the overall screen of that, but it wasn't anything like too like fancy dancies. Yeah, like so DKNG, so DraftKings. Well, I kind of did a trading idea here potentially. It's starting to close below or get below the 8 exponential moving average, which in the short term, if you're trading at very short term, it's not the greatest thing. So I bought in. Probably when it kind of got around like 10 o'clock, I put my automatic order got triggered. Let's do hairstyle. Set it hours. All right, so we got in like right about around 40, like right below $41. And of course, it kind of just flopping today, looking for some support again around the 39 to 40 level to kind of move this thing higher. Once 3 o'clock has already rolled around, we're looking for some going onward momentum to continue kind of going higher here. But that being said, it kind of got a little dicey here. Again, my calls are only 30-ish days out, looking for potential. I don't want it to get anywhere near 37. We are still seeing some strength. We actually start looking at this more at a 4-hour chart here. It is slightly breaking down. We don't want to start seeing the 5 and 8 start coming through the 21. We kind of want these to bounce around. But again, this thing has been very issue-ish prone. It's kind of just like trading sideways. I wish I wasn't as aggressive as I was this morning. So I jumped in the pool when I wasn't completely warm yet, and my body stiffed up, and I just couldn't swim, and I got myself in trouble before I even just made a very impulsive kind of trade, and was very dumb on the size that I went into in the stock. Malone Money, hey, what's up, Anthony? How you doing, man? Yeah, PayPal has been great. PayPal has been fantastic. Oh, you had DraftKings at 18. Yeah, I've been trading it on and off here, just with some options and things like that, just really selling puts. But we were kind of looking some foundation here of kind of just this trading sideways, getting with the overall momentum of the overall market, continue trying to pump higher to get above that $45 level, potentially even going higher. PayPal helping me out. Let's take a look at PayPal. Yeah, that's fantastic. That's been doing really strong. The RSI is on the high end, but it has been on the high end this whole run up ever since earnings. So that's going to be hard to rely again just on the RSI. The volume oscillator as well is performing very well. Looking forward to potentially even digging it higher. Momentum's kind of coming back in here. The moving averages are super sexy stacked between the 5, 8, 21, 34, 50, and 200. This is a very good looking chart. And if you're in it, just continue to hold it, and you start seeing the 5 and 8 start breaking down continuously with the parabolic SAR switching from the bottom to the top. Could be seeing a potential test around 156 there, or wherever the 21 is. You added some more Uber shares. You added Uber. Are they down today? Yeah, Uber, I like Uber. So it's, again, that 200-day exponential moving average has been some support. The 50-day as well is kind of coming up. It's been holding that. Between the 50 and the 200, we could see a potential trading sideways here, looking for, we kind of want to see the 5 and 8, the moving averages here, to start curling up. The momentum is still somewhat bringing it down with the parabolic SAR. The volume oscillator and RSI just being kind of flat. We just kind of want these to kind of peak up to potentially go higher here. But I think it's adding some on a relatively lower prices is, I think it's a great move on your behalf. He's got it. Says BA breakdown. Yeah, let's take a look at BA. How much is that? It's not up that much, but again, what we're looking for within BA is holding that 21 exponential moving average here. Looking for, again, that 5 and 8 just been trading sideways. They haven't been curling down. We want to see the parabolic SAR dots up here switch from the bottom, for the top to the bottom. The volume is just been kind of flat. It's above 0, which is good. Again, this is just really in the holding pattern, potentially waiting for the FDA to come out and give them the thumbs up for allowing them to manufacture, start selling the Max 8 and 9 as well there. So this is going to be a pretty large move, I think, once that announcement goes out. Potentially going up, again, that really strong overhead resistance previous high around 230, but we're going to see a lot of overhead resistance wherever the 200 exponential moving average lies there. Lo, I sent you an email earlier about Discord. An email or a ping? I'm horrible with email, I'm sorry. Lo, I sent you an email earlier about Discord to the Dyslexic Investor at Gmail account. Okay, Lo, go ahead. Let's look at Z. That you were asked for Z. That's Zillow. With home sales kind of going up, like Zillow, Redfin has been performing very well, and their stocks relatively to that. We are seeing some, again, that 21 really coming into play here. Kind of, it broke down there a couple times here with support. Again, it's been a nice grind higher, not flying higher, but it has been a grind higher here, with the 5 and 8 being really closely monitored here, even though with kind of some swings back and forth with the parabolic SAR kind of switching back and forth. Nothing to go crazy about. Yeah, I'll look again, Lo, on what the email was, and I'll take a looky-loo on what you're asking about. Because again, I normally don't check my email that very much. Let's be honest with. So nothing. Oh, I see it now. At 2:30 you sent it. Yeah, so I've been busy with something. Yeah, I'll take a looky-loo in a second, Lo, when I'm done with this, okay? Okie dokie. Okay, Zillow. So Zillow has been, again, the 21. We do see a squeeze setting up here. RSI is slightly elevated again around the $50 to $60 range. We are seeing some potential overhead resistance around 66 from its previous high. We can kind of look here on a further, yeah, I was thinking that this has been a mark around the 64 to 66 level quite some times on some really strong overhead, very historical resistance here. Again, we're looking at 3 years here for a potential, yeah, just like nasty pattern of being some overhead resistance here previous to that. We do have an earnings coming out way in August though, so nothing that can't be, if you're trading it, nothing to really write home about. But if you're in this, continue holding that 21 potentially. If you start seeing the squeeze popping higher, we could see a potential push to try to break that 65 plus level there. Kelly D, ABBV, that's ABV, right? Yeah, this one's been slowly just grinding, but performing a little bit better around that 21 exponential moving average there. Just slowly, just grinding higher. Kind of the same pattern we just looked at with Zillow, with again those parabolic SARs, kind of getting those, once it kind of pops off a little bit, kind of slows down, pops up, slows down, and potentially goes higher. The squeeze did, I wouldn't call this a major squeeze here, but it did kind of go long to kind of push it higher. The volume zone oscillator is at a fairly high level here, which is a good indication for continued momentum. Of course, with the coordinates of the squeeze and RSI slowly kind of grinding higher above 65. When that guy starts getting above around 80, that one on top of the volume zone oscillator peaking at 60 to 70 plus, that could be an indication of a short-term top. As you can see here with ABV, it posted around the 80 level here in RSI, and then the volume zone oscillator around, what was that, 60. It kind of made a short-term top and then kind of came down a little bit. Doesn't mean it has to come crashing down when it hits that very top, tippy top level, but it could kind of get in conclusion of having some overhead resistance, what we're looking at, because things just don't magically go up without some hiccups and some setbacks. Cache, Adobe. Ooh, we're doing all the A's today. Ooh, that is a beautiful. That is beautiful. Oh my gosh. That thing is, again, we talked about this one previously to its earnings of continue. If it continues holding that 21, it has a lot of room to run. And this is clearly what we're seeing here. That little imaginary red line we kind of put out starting back here, I believe, before its earnings. We just like, this is going to continue to ride up above this. If it starts breaking below this, this is where the trend could be coming into question. Potentially not a sell-off, but a trend change. But this has been completely the opposite of that. For, again, we're saying keeping close to that 5 and 8 exponential moving average, just continue to grind higher, getting that large momentum here again. Wouldn't call this super extended, but the volume zone oscillator is getting pretty close to 60, and same with the RSI is getting close to 80. This could, again, like we talked about just with ABV, that we could just get a new blowout high, because if we do from, this is the daily chart, so the previous swing high on the Fibonacci retracements to the low, we are looking at a potential target for the next upward momentum or potential target that we can get to is 465. Again, that doesn't mean that we're going to hit that tomorrow or the next day, but that is going to be the next aggressive target for Adobe to go after. There could be some hiccups and some pit stops on the way up, meaning trading sideways, maybe coming back down and testing 400, 415 for a potential push higher. But this thing has been just a rocket ship, being one of the most beautiful mysticist, I made that word up, just a beautiful chart, holding that 21, continue riding up. This is something to print out and mount on the wall. It's absolutely beautiful. Malone, I tempered to add Fastly to my M1 plans. How are your thoughts on that one? Fastly, yeah, what is the ticker for that one, Anthony? If I can pull it up here, if it pulls it for me. It's the FASTLY. Okay, I got it. Ooh, yeah, this one is, oh my gosh. This is, yeah, I remember I saw the one you just did the video on that one. It just kind of gone up the last week or so by like 20-ish, 30%, which is fantastic if you're in it. Whatever this quarter happened has just been really holding up higher. That 5 and 8 exponential moving average can continue going higher, just grinding this. This has not even really touched the 21 exponential moving average on the daily side. Again, hitting an all-time high today. This is going to be a very difficult stock to kind of analyze because it's an unknown territory, and I believe it's also a newer IPO, so there's not going to be that much data on it. Potentially, this is a great runner if you're in it. Some signs to be wary of, or potential trading sideways. You do see that the volume zone oscillator is at 60 or 70. What does that say? 76, which is extremely high, and you also see the RSI at 86, which is also extremely high as well. So we could potentially start seeing some trading sideways, or potentially coming back down and trading trading sideways and waiting for the 5 and 8 potentially to kind of catch up for another boost higher. But the momentum is really strong with this one. You're seeing a lot of volume coming in the past 2 days to really move this one substantially higher. This is a great pick, man. That's a wonderful stock right there. BETZ. What is this? This is like a brand new Round Hill Sports Betting. So this is like I never heard of this one. So this looks like another brand new IPO. Kind of popped off around 1730. Kind of came down to 14 now, trading sideways. I'm gonna have to really shrink this down to a different time frame to give me some more information. On this one, looks like another it has a sports betting in its title, so potentially, yeah. So with this one, you can clearly see on I put it back down to a 4-hour chart. You're seeing some really strong overhead resistance around 1780. That's going to be where the 200-day exponential moving average comes in. There is a squeeze in play. I can't really give to you too much on the RSI or volume oscillator because, again, this is a very new developing stock and IPO. Just going to be relying really on some of the moving averages tickers here and then just the ticks itself. It really needs to break above that 1580 and close above it for it to continue seeing some strength. We saw some basically here this is 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, it looks like, that it was kind of holding that 200-day a little bit and now kind of coming down as well. We did discuss booking, but we can take a look at it again because I did a mistakey-do on that one. But this one, it needs to really break above 1580-ish. It's been holding the 21 fairly well, just kind of just trading sideways. I think once some volume momentum comes in, it could go higher if it gets that momentum to the bull side to kind of break that 1580 level. We can go back to DraftKings. Let's take a looky-loo. Yeah, this one is not performing as much as I would like it to. I'm going to definitely have to roll and move my options play here. It's kind of, my options are still in the money, my longer dated calls, which is good, but I don't like this momentum of kind of just beating down. But again, this thing still, on a longer time frame, it's still somewhat intact if we go to the 4-hour chart. It is still kind of just trading sideways, with that 34 and 50 days kind of been its overall support there. If it starts breaking below this, I'm going to start considering getting out and just cutting it for a loss here. We do have this huge movement higher. I think people could be just kind of taking the cash and running and just going to a different section or just a different cause in the sense of what they want to gamble with, because we did have a pretty large run from 30 to 45, and I'd kind of just consider this more like just trading sideways. Again, the stock's only been around for nearly 2 months now, so there's not that much data out there. More people are going to be getting into the market, understanding sports betting and all the very kind of things. I just think this is a very well trading pattern. If you're holding it long term, would use a 21 exponential moving average, so it's getting below 37. I would need to really consider getting out for sure if it starts closing below that with the 5 and 8 start crossing through that. STX long since last February, getting tired of it. Kelly D. STX. What is STX? Seagate. Eek. Since last February? You said, last fall. Yeah, I guess you're kind of not up that much depending on if you got above this. This is, again, to be very cyclical in the sense of the market of computers and DRAM prices and things like that. It's going to be tied a lot to that. We can see here, looking like it says dividend coming out here on the 23rd, which is tomorrow. It's really just kind of holding this 200-day exponential moving average a lot. It looks like it had some issues trying to break above it. It kind of made the first part of the V down, but it never made the V up here, and just kind of just trading sideways. It kind of had a little hope here and hope and prayers here, but it kind of came right back down. So that 21 and 34 has been really tightly wound. The 50-day has been somewhat of ongoing resistance, but with the parabolic SAR still above it. We see the 5 and 8 kind of crossing through it. The 200 kind of coming into play for somewhat support here, nothing too great. With momentum kind of dying off, the volume and RSI are somewhat stagnant. If the volume oscillator starts going to the yellow or negative, we could be seeing some lower prices on the short term around 49 to 50 for some ongoing support. But this one doesn't seem too sexy as well. This could just be continuing trading sideways for the bear case. We want to start seeing that 5 and 8 are crossing through the 21. It is like it's not like curling down. They're kind of trying to building a base here to kind of see what happens. But yeah, depending on what your trading idea was for that one, it seems pretty stagnant to me. He's got it FIZZ. Is that little? Oh wow, that thing is really taken off. Yeah. Okay, so this one, I'm gonna kind of look. Yeah, this one is kind of beaten up over the long-term run here on the weekly side. It doesn't look that great on the weekly side. It's kind of trying to making a recovery here on the weekly. But when I go back to the daily side here, that 200-day has been really strong support here, previously around 48. There, we're seeing the 21 kind of guiding it up really closely, kind of getting in and around it, potentially seeing if this could continue going higher. The RSI and the volume zone oscillator is kind of just standing up here on the 36 and the 70 level, indicating trading sideways. If we get more volume picked up into this, we could seeing it going higher, potentially first on the way down, price started around 61 and then coming down to like the 58.50 level for some support there. I kind of wanted to do a weekly Fibonacci on this. I want to see, just want to be curious, because this is nowhere. So the 200-day is way up here at $70. Like, yeah, that's a weird one. If you're in it, I think you're probably performing great. Just be mindful that even previously to the COVID-19 stuff, it's just kind of been trading sideways with the pandemic and the virus. It's just been just really trading sideways even previously to that. So be mindful of that. Having a lot of just fluctuations back and forth, and not many clean lines here. He's got it DEO. So this one again looks like the 200-day has been kind of some overhead resistance. I'm not sure what this company does as well. With again the 5 and 8 are coming really close to the 21. Looks like it's trying to cross through it. My concern is that it's the first day of squeeze. We want to see this squeeze maybe for the next 4 or 5 days. And if this starts, the squeeze starts printing more and more red, and the candles get larger and larger, and you see the RSI and volume also are getting lower, and you start seeing the 5 and 8 start getting a much lower through the 21, and you start seeing the ticks getting below the 50, because the 50 has kind of come in here previously once or twice here and kind of there for some ongoing support. But we start seeing this, the pressure from the parabolic SARs to kind of push it down some more. We could be seeing some lower prices to like 138. Let me pull up this one here. Yeah, so like the 137.45 and then potentially the 131 if we've seen some really strong downward pressure. And the MACD hasn't crossed over yet, so this could be some further downside resistance there going forth. Zach says, your thoughts on WRCD. What is that? How does something have 6 letters? Is that 5 or 6? I can't see. WRCDF. Oh, this is okay. This is an international. Okay, so this I read about this. This is the German-based company that somehow there's a hole of like $2 billion in their balance sheet or something. Like, what happened to $2 billion there, sir? I don't know. We got Panera. That being said, I can't. This is the #1 flag of accounting fraud, and I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. That's the same thing with LK, the Luckin Coffee, the Chinese Starbucks equivalent. I can't touch this. What do you think about W? They look stupidly overpriced. Wayfair. It's stupidly overpriced but it continues going higher, right? Amazon looks stupidly overpriced and as well, but anywho, this thing just had an all-time high again today. Is it stupidly overpriced? But it's the sense of everyone kind of getting back on board on the sense of having the stay at home. People are having a little bit more revenue, not spending it out. Everyone using their stimulus check to buy new furniture and things like that, and looking for a wonderful being at home, so they're going to be able to add new furniture. You know what, honey, we need to upgrade those pillows on the bed. You know what, we need to get a new ottoman for the living room or whatever. Like, this is what's happening, and people are not going to be going to furniture stores because they're going to be so used to going to Wayfair and buying all these kind of things and making shipping basically free and having such a large variety from everything from outdoors, indoors, kids' toys, and all kinds of things. Without a doubt, it's been a very strong company. Again, with the 5 and 8 exponential moving average being your strong indications for trading, this has continued performing very well. We start seeing it close below the 8, potentially start heading to the 21, but the 5 and 8s are still looking really strong, printing higher. Momentum's really high. RSI is not really signaling overbought yet. You kind of see here with the strong quarter, we kind of got an overbought. The volume zone and RSI came lower with the combination of lower momentum. We're not seeing that yet, so that could potentially coming back down to Earth, aka Earth being around 185. If things start going not sideways, but just things kind of start mellowing down just slightly. Tesla to beat 2000 within 5 years. Sure, Miguel. Yeah, I think so. Who knows? I think Tesla's a great company. I love Tesla. As hopefully everyone knows that we are fairly long Tesla here for this in my portfolio. It's just been trading sideways ever since it's hit that 1,000 marker. Nothing too crazy about. The volume zone oscillator, or the VZO, has kind of just been blah. The RSI is but always elevated on Tesla. But the 5 and 8 still trading in around that range. It has been trading sideways, but that parabolic SAR is really trying to hold it down here. So if it starts breaking above and closing above that 10.15, 10.16 level, we could see some substantially higher prices there. Because, and again, we're still waiting on battery day 2. So short-term and intermediate support around the 21, so it'll be around 930 there. Roberts KDP. KDP. Oh, this is the Curadex. Okay, this is interesting. Yeah, this is it's kind of crazy going from Tesla and a Wayfair to Dr. Pepper and coffee. Yeah, this is not. I clearly can see that this has been a nice recovery again. It's been on the charting standpoint, the 5, 8, 21, 34, 50, and 200 performing really well. We just had the 200-day cross, or the 50-day cross through the 200, which is a great sign as well. Potentially some more upside and grinding higher. Again, this is not going to be flying 10-30% in a day or in a week, but this is going to just be a nice easy grinder, and it looks like it still pays you a dividend, which is nice as well. And of course, I wonder if they send you some free Dr. Pepper, because I love my Dr. Pepper if I do drink a soda once a month. Again, parabolic SAR is below, which is great. Short-term intermediate support is going to be around level 1, which is being around 28.25 there, and then we're going to see some extreme support mostly around the 200-day, around 27.22. We can kind of give you some upside potentials here because it has a nice previous swing high to swing low here on the fib announcement. Again, that 78.6 percentile move, that overhead resistance at 29.23 looks fairly strong here, because you've seen it here. You kind of seen it multiple times the past 2 weeks. It's kind of, the ticks kind of just tickled it a little bit and just kind of came back down. If we get that momentum, we do have a squeeze building up here. The RSI is fairly elevated, which is good, and then also the VZO, which is the volume zone oscillator, is trying to print higher as well, to get that ticket to go higher, to print that tick to get to the higher prices, to get above 29.23 to close out there. Again, if we get above that, we're going to try to test that $32 level there. All right, let's go through here. Oh, it's the owner of Guinness. Okay. Should I be getting into PFE? That's, I don't know. It's a Pfizer, right? Yeah, this thing just been beaten down. It's looking like for some further downside resistance. So we kind of did this one. I think we did this one on the live stream, right? We did the Fibonacci extensions, which I like here. So the previously swing high to low to this intermediate high, potentially looking for some support around $30. But again, these are still somewhat steep moving averages, with the 5 and 8 still pointing to the ground, and same with the 21. It has been having a lot of troubles to try to even close above the 5 or 8. So if it can't close above the 5 or 8 to kind of stop this overall downward losing of speed, it needs to kind of get in there with this momentum still red. We kind of need that to start turning yellow into blue. RSI is fairly low, need that to curl up, and if that volume zone oscillator goes past 0, we could be seeing that more downward pressure to 30. Coolest dad ever, what's up, dude? Happy belated Father's Day. How does wind look to you? I don't know, the wind feels great. I wish there was more wind. It's really hot today. Wind resorts, again, this thing kind of got its legs before everything was quite ready, because a lot of people were just jumping in like, oh yeah, everything's gonna open up, everything's gonna be fine. But I think maybe people are finding out, maybe not. So that 200-day exponential moving average is going to be really strong. Overhead resistance around 100. We are seeing the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21, which is slightly concerning for some downward pressure. It's breaking below the 50-day, which has kind of had support around the 50 and 34, so that's kind of breaking down. I kind of want to do the same Fibonacci extensions here to kind of give you that. So the previous swing high to low, and then to this. Not meaning that it's going to get to this level, so I'm actually going to edit this, and I'm going to throw this one in here, and I'm going to make this one a blue. Yeah, so initially, not meaning it can come all the way down to 50 or 64, but these are some of those extensions that it could get down to. Looking again, this has been it's breaking the 21 for sure. The 34 has been breaking. If it starts closing lower, I want to kind of look this on this particular chart. Yeah, so looking at potentially some support around 70, strong support around 70, 76 to 70, if we start seeing this go more negative with, again, those moving averages really cutting through the 21. Ryan, what's up, dude? Nicola, yes, I haven't. They're performing wonderful as usual. Again, if you haven't watched the video, we are thinking that this is just going to be trading sideways. When did someone post when this is going to be having their wonderful it flushed through my gap level through a really dead booking. So that being said, looking here on Nikola, it's still trading between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average, meaning it's indicating it's very trader aggressively moving averages. Again, the 5 and 8 are going to be very aggressive on its movement. It's been really holding that 5 and 8 for quite some time again here. If it start coming down to the $50, $53 level, we could be seeing some really weak hands and getting out. I'm not sure exactly when they're doing their Nikola's World or whatever they're calling it with their announcement of their badge. I'm just slightly concerned that I normally just tell people is like, listen, like it took Tesla. I'm not saying that this is a completely Tesla. I know they're outsourcing a lot of things, and I don't know how they're able to save money on outsourcing, but that's fine. If I was investing into this long term, I would like for everything to kind of be in-house, so you can kind of control things, because you can give it to someone else to make it for you, but once it comes down your assembly line, like, well, why did they put the red button over here and the blue button over there? It's supposed to be the other way around. And maybe they figured it out and they're just excellent project managers, and they're just doing great. But again, this one is still just trading sideways, lack of a better words. If we start seeing the 5 and 8 start curling over, start heading to the 21, it's going to be your first level of really strong support there. Might want to look at booking. Let's look back at booking. Is this, my alert hasn't gone off yet, so yeah, it's at 39.50. Yeah, it's kind of getting below where we want it to get into, but it's not breaking that trend that I like to see at 37.61. So if it starts breaking below that, that's when I have to kind of get slightly concerned for my position. I'm gonna have to kind of reposition mine. We are. What do we had? We had the $40 call that was expiring the 17th of next month. Yeah, with the 40 call, and we bought for a little over $4. Now it's around $3.50. So kind of that. Yeah, you win some, you lose some. It's nothing too crazy yet, and we're not gonna go crazy and like. Not all trades work out, guys, okay? Just make sure you have a stop in place and you listen to that stop. If you don't listen to that stop can just make your day a complete headache and make you rip all your hair out. Coolest dad ever. Thank you, man, for $3, man. Appreciate it. Happy Father's Day again. Hey, can you do your analysis on S&P 500? How can you make a short-term... Hey, can you analyze SP's 500? How can we make a short trade? You want to do like a short, like shorting it to go down, or like a short-term trade, like a short-term time? So we look at SPY. So as we can see here, as everyone knows who's been watching the channel for more than 37 seconds, that we use that 21 here on the daily chart as our overall standard and our benchmark. So again, the parabolic SER is still above. We really need, it still hasn't broken anything. It's really just trading sideways. Everyone's kind of sitting on their hands. Again, the economy is opening back up. Are we getting a second wave of the virus or whatsoever? I don't know. But things are kind of just waiting for once we start seeing some earnings coming out. I believe earnings season again starts, the Bank of America, yeah. So earnings season basically starts after like the 4th of July week, so around the 16th or 17th, so about 25 days away. Usually, so the reason I always look at Bank of America, that's usually the first larger part of earnings season is always has the bank stocks go first. So I always look at Bank of America or like a Wells Fargo, or even like a JP Morgan. That being said, with the S&P 500, we kind of want to continue staying above that 306 level. We kind of want that parabolic SAR to stop pushing us down. Again, if you're a bull, you want that to go below. There is not much momentum currently here on the S&P 500. Everything's just kind of trading sideways like we're looking at. So there's nothing really to write home about. and just kind of waiting. There are some larger caps, like Apple with their announcement today. They're just taking off. Like, again, you have to think of the whole S&P 500 as the overall market, but there's a complete outliers today going substantially higher with, like, let's look at Chipotle. My gosh, they had a huge uptick today. They were featured in something. Google, which we kind of talked about, some trading ideas on the Patreon page, which we kind of said if it can continue holding this 21, we could see a pop higher, potentially test around 1457 for some higher ticks there. What about HRB? Is this H&R Block? Okay. Not looking too sexy. It looks like you like to buy falling knives. That's not a bad thing, but falling knives sometimes take longer to fall, in the sense of just continue going down and lower. The 5 and 8 and 21 are starting to. The 5 and 8 have already been aggressively going down. It looks like their quarter wasn't that great, and it's usually 3 or 4 days after it. Whatever news is happening is this kind of continues to flow over, because it takes 3 or 4 days for the people to get their invoices, to update their accounts, to view their accounts. They usually view it on the weekend, and so forth. So that's be a little concerning there. So I put it to a weekly side. This thing has been trading sideways forever. Even with the pandemic, it came back down to 11, and now just failing here at the 21 and just continue going down. If it starts breaking below $14.70, we could be seeing some further downside there. Upside potential needs to break above like the 1625 level to kind of break above this trend, but those 5 and 8 moving averages are really pointing down. Rob WM, yes, we love me some Waste Management. That is a great company to be involved in. Again, my opinion on this is going to be a little bit longer dated, because again, I've owned this company forever. With this one, it's kind of just on the overall trend of potentially just trading sideways here. We see the 5 and 8 start crossing through the 21, but we're seeing a really strong today, kind of here holding the 50-day here. It kind of failed here on Friday, and then continue kind of holding here to kind of tick higher. We want to see the 5 and 8 kind of level off here, potentially start curling higher to get above the 21 there for potentially higher movement, and potentially some really strong overhead resistance initially at 104 to 105 and then to 107, which is the 200-day here, which we previously saw some overhead resistance there and kind of kick higher. But this one is not normally an aggressively trading one. This is more like a longer term investment in my view. Let's see. Roberts, you're welcome. Low FVRR. Ooh, fiber. So this is again going to be taking off a lot due to the overall economy. I don't even know how to. This thing has been really rocketing higher, kind of making that 73.50 level, trying to test higher here. It kind of had a squeeze. It didn't build up too much, but it built up enough where it kind of broke out and broke past the parabolic SARs. Now it's printing below. Being mindful that the 5 and 8 are going to be your strong trading moving averages for continue to trade higher. If it starts staying in around this range between the 67 or 65 level comes down, but you saw that even though with this overall downturn here, that 21 really came in for some strong support. So that 62 level, 62.50, if it comes down to this level and kind of holds here for a couple days, could be a potential a nice mover there. Mike FA says IDEX. IDEX. Yeah, they have something coming out here. This is considered a penny stock because it was like 28 cents less than a couple months ago, and now their indication of something came out, something news related, and it kind of turns into I wouldn't call it a pump and dump, but a FOMO trade where you see a lot of volume coming in and some astronomical prices, because again, the RSI is literally through the roof. Same with the momentum and the volume zone oscillator, and there's nothing I can really gauge that or compare that with. So it's going to be a very isolated issue. I kind of looked here on the weekly side. We've kind of seen some large pops in this before. It looks like a newer IP or newer something here, and it's going to be kind of because there's not that much data, because I put it to the 3-year. There's only goes back to the end of 18. Yeah, I can't honestly add anything to that. I apologize. I'm sorry. I mean, the S&P 500 futures now is pointing at 3,100. Should I still need to buy it now or sell it for 30 pips target? Oh, you want to talk futures? Okay. You're talking about 3,100. Oh, it's at 3,100 now. Again, yeah, it's same. With futures, it's a little bit different because they're trading, lack of better words, all the time. Besides Friday and the Saturday and the Sunday, a little bit of Sunday, it needs to really break above that 31.48. Again, we're just still looking sideways here within the S&P 500 or the futures here. We are seeing the 5 and 8 kind of just trading sideways with the 21.34. But if we start seeing the 50-day exponential moving average start crossing through the 200, we could be seeing some strong potential higher moves here. That being said, we need more momentum coming in. As you can see here, we need to see more volume come in as well. The volume zone oscillator is basically at 0, and we really need that to start kicking up to the yellow line, so at least to get above 20, potentially even to 40, to start getting that steam of momentum to kind of break above that 31.50-ish level to kind of test those new levels there. Can you look? Yeah, Mike, I looked at that one. Is that the German wire card company? So they had. Did I write that wrong? Wait. Is that W? Okay, this is a different one. Sorry, my bad. Workhorse. Yeah, this is. I think we did this one actually on Sunday. This thing is getting really close to the RSI reading. Same with the volume zone oscillator, and this could potentially hitting an all-time high today. Could not a sell-off, but people getting out and potentially getting a pullback to around $4.55. Which has happened exactly same pattern here, where it hit the RSI above 80, same with the volume zone oscillator, and kind of came back to between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average. So that being said, this is again I think a newer stock as well, and just kind of been really popping off here there. So just be mindful of that. It's going to be very difficult to kind of get in front of this one, and be very mindful on a dip, because it could be just considering more downward pressure as well. Bobby, options or opinion on airlines? Yeah, we can look at airlines. We can look at love. So, of course, this is going to be completely reliable to potentially, if any other new cases or a new wave of the virus comes out or whatsoever, and companies start lifting their restrictions on going anywhere. As you can see, we talked about Thor, the RV company that has been making a boatload of money because everyone this summer is going to be renting an RV or buying an RV, and rather than flying to Europe or leaving the United States, really, because a lot of people have so many different travel bans, so many things are closed and things like that. So there's a lot of concerning large question marks around that. Looking at Love, which is basically one of my favorite airlines, but we can look at Jets, which is the ETF for the airlines and trades just like all the airlines, because they're all in the same boat, or they're all in the same plane, lack of a better words, to continue waiting for the uplift of travel bans and so forth. So this one here, especially for the airlines, the 21 is going to be key for sure. We are seeing, again, we had some really strong overhead resistance around the 200-day, which is kind of come in here on a lot of the charts. The 5 and 8 are starting to cross into potentially the 21. Momentum's kind of dying off. The volume zone oscillator has no heartbeat really in there. Same with RSI, just trading sideways. Potentially could be trading sideways. looking for maybe some extension, first level support if it comes down to around 1574 for the overall Jets ETF there. Nothing really crazy there. It's really just trading sideways because it's very, very much in just a holding pattern, lack of better words. I'm having a problem getting my sink or swim, my think or swim to show my volume bar in blue under the chart. Can I add it underneath? But when I overlay, it's sideways. Help? Sideways. I think it's under. I have it. If you click this on, I don't know how it does. It's sideways. But I wonder if you reset it to this here, if it helps. I'm not. Would have to Google around on how it does sideways. I just know you can do the overlay volume here. I know how it does sideways, but I don't know how you would do it. I've seen it before, but I've never actually done it. I'm sorry, Jason, I wasn't able to help there. Mike, can you make a video on your Thinkorswim setup? I like why you have the TTM squeeze and RSI stuff like that. Yep, I actually did one, Mike. So if you kind of peruse around, I have my live stream. Let me do this one. I'm gonna post this in the channel here. So Mike, that is the link to the live stream that I did just a couple days ago, looking through. No, nothing's. Jason, if you saw what I Google on stuff on Thinkorswim or charting stuff, it's really silly. Trust me. Don't beat yourself up about that. Mike, why do you like Love more than Delta? I like them both, but I'm just saying that they're all basically in the same airplane, and they're all in the same boat, on the sense of no one's really making money in the airline sector right now. Yes, I believe if you're looking here at more of a fundamental analysis, I believe Love has the lowest amount of debt, and their interest rates are much lower than everyone else. And I like Love because it's more, instead of just being more international, it's very domestic here in the United States. So more people are more likely to fly, I believe, in the United States rather than going out. Thoughts on GME with Side taking a large position? GME, that is GameStop, right? Or is it GameStop? I always get those two mixed up. Yeah, GameStop. Well, they took a large position. So this one is kind of one it's always been a fun one to look at. Not saying it's a dying company, because again, if you remember when I would go to GameStop back in the day, you had to pick up your game. You had to pre-order it, bring in your receipt, and pick up the game. But now everything is literally online, and you can just download everything. So they're in a current process of just trying to switch their model of making it more of a destination than just a place to buy games and everything. So it's between merch and potentially LAN parties and things like that. We'll see. On this chart again, it's going to have some really strong overhead resistance around $5.20. We kind of seen that failed here at the 200-day exponential moving average. You're seeing the 5 and 8 kind of somewhat support here, kind of nicely stacked here over the 21. The 21 has been somewhat of a decent trend here. We are seeing the squeeze kind of set up here, but momentum is potentially dying off since the volume zone oscillators around 0, basically kind of slightly curling down. If you start seeing the RSI start curling down as well, this could be testing basically the 34, which is around $4.50, potentially there. Again, it's very much a beaten down stock, and lack of a better words, I would rather be long it than short it. I don't know. Just going to contrarian bet on my behalf. Can you please analyze NASDAQ futures now? What is your trading suggestions now? Can you give me a specific position to trade? I cannot give you a specific position to trade because I don't trade NASDAQ futures, but I can give you analysis on the chart. Futures is just too much for me because you literally have to trade it short term, and I don't do a great job short term trading, especially day trading. What I use a lot of my mechanics for is swing trades and longer term investments or trades like that. That being said, if you're looking this at a trading idea, we can break it down for a little bit for you here. You can see today the 21 has been a really long, strong line of support. So if we're continually looking at a 15-minute chart, that 21 has been some downward support if it comes down. Again, since it's only about 5 minutes left of trading, and that's the largest amount of volumes is during trading hours. After trading hours is I consider the Wild Wild West, and you get some really high capitulations and no really rhyme or reasons behind it. So I can't get in, and again, I'm not a stockbroker or someone to tell you financial advice, but if I was trading this, I would, if it was coming down to the 10,079 level, 10,080 level, potentially just trying to swing it and kind of scalping it here. We'll see what happens, right? Sorry I wasn't able to give you some more advice there, my friend. Guys, any more questions out there, charts or something like that? I kind of want to look back at some DraftKings real fast. See how that's closing out today. Not really good at all. That's not good. I don't like that. That's not good. That hurts. That's something completely, yeah. This kind of did a coin flip for me here, and it's not performing very well without a doubt. Don't like this pattern at all. Got 5 minutes left of trading here. Do I want to roll my... I think I do. I gotta cut it. That was a really, really stupid, silly call for me to get in. I just got a little bit too large of a size into booking at a too aggressive price target. It wasn't being able to manage it properly, and now it's kind of paying for it here a little bit. So we'll see. It needs to stay above 37.50 for me to continue holding it. So I think it could stay above that today. Edwin PLUG. Plug. Is this the one that... Is this a really long... Okay. I remember trading this when it was like $1, maybe even less. Yeah. I remember trading this way back here. Because it came up on a lot of people's radar without, like, yeah. No, yeah, for the Roberts, I bought the, you're rolling, well, I bought the $40 or so 40 strike price for booking for around a little over $360, $375. And now it's trading around $3, so I'm down $75 in it. Nothing crazy, but that still hurts. I don't like to lose money. I do have quite a few days, 25 days until expiration, but usually if something falls $8 or 8% in a day, usually doesn't recover completely the next 2 or 3 days, so we could be seeing some more downward pressure happening there. For plug, this one has been performing fairly well. Between the 5 and 8 exponential moving average, kind of just grinding higher. The parabolic SER has been strong here too. Has been completely below it, which is great. If we start seeing it break below the $5.25, we could be seeing some downward pressure to around $5 there as well, potentially even down to $5.50. But let's do a quick Fibonacci retracement here for you. So previous swing high to low. Again, that $4 or $5.30 is initial support here to continue going higher. We're looking for that again, that $6 price target to kind of break higher. Momentum strong. RSI and volume zone oscillator are still trying to grind higher, which is great. So looks like it's this trend is still intact of continued grinding higher, but you start seeing it close below the 8. And initially the parabolic SAR switching, we could be seeing some sideways or potential downward pressure there. How about SPHD as a long-term dividend ETF for portfolio? So first of all, I'm not a great dividend investor because that usually not good at holding things just for dividend. Yeah, I don't know what this does. It doesn't even have a dividend on it here. It's weird. Interesting. So right here, between the 5 and 8, asymmetric moving averages kind of start crossing through the 21. We do see the 34 has been strong support here, here, and here a couple times on the way down. That being said, if we start seeing the 5 and 8 start crossing over and the volume zone oscillator start going negative, we could see some further downside pressure to around the 31.75 level for the first initial support. If we start seeing some really strong strong downward pressure there. And the market's about to go ding, ding, ding in about 20 seconds here. And that's going to be a nice, another lovely trading day in the books for everyone. Hopefully everyone did fairly well today. Some positions are doing good. I'm holding some Nike stock into earnings potentially. A little bit longer term play for me. Oh, there's the bell. Space did really well today. I have a video coming out on that. I can do a quick analysis for you guys there. So this one closed out really good. So above, nearly 16%. Ooh, I like that. It did not break that darn parabolic SAR. I really wanted the parabolic SAR to be broken here above that 1775 level to continue kind of break higher. We do see a lot of volume kind of coming in here again due to their partnership with NASA that's kind of going through. We can see the 5 and 8 trying to curl higher to break into the 21. Again, that 200-day exponential moving average is when we kind of got into it again with some longer dated option leaps. That was around that $15 or $14.90 level there. Really strong support there. This has come down here multiple days, multiple times over the last coming months. Even with this crash here from this FOMO side of the trade, really kind of came through the 200. Traded in and around this and kind of broke higher, but again, that 200-day has been really strong level of support for space there. Really just looking for some higher prices here around 17. Potentially we really want to see it above 20 if the bulls want to take charge and really make this a longer term trade here. But we really need to see that squeeze fire higher. We do see the volume zone and RSI kick higher there as well. Guys, on this one, we're going to have to call it a day here on this live stream. Thank you so much, everyone, for checking this out and joining here. I would love to do this again potentially tomorrow or the next coming days. It was a lot of fun. Be safe out there, guys. I'm going to go outside and get some exercise and have some fun with that. Again, thank you so much for everyone for joining. Don't forget to check out our fantastic Discord, completely free to join. A lot of fun there. We have share some trading ideas, things like that. I kind of shared my DraftKings idea this morning, kind of falling through and falling flat on my face there. Yeah, you can't get them all right. That kind of hurt me, but that's fine. It's you have to get back up and get back on the horse, they say, right? All right, guys. Coolest dad ever. Thanks for the $3 again, my friend. Guys, take it easy. Have fun out there. Later. Peace.